Nsaba nabo bambuulire kirungi kibbo kye balaba mu tteeka lino kubanga mu kubaga amateeka munnamateeka yenna ajja kugamba nti oba obaga etteeka obanga oyagala kulikyusaamu oba oyina ky'oyagala okutereeza ekitali kirungi kati ne mbabuuza kikyamu ki kye mugezaako okutereeza tekiriiwo tekitegeerekeka so tewali kyoyinza kugamba nti kino kirungi ky'olaba mu tteeka ekyo oba oli awo kyalibadde bwe kityo singa yali agamba nti abakulembeze bonna mu parliament balondebwe leader of opposition, leader of government business, chief opposition whip, government chief whip, shadow cabinet ne government cabinet yonna obukiiko obukulemberwa opposition n'obukiiko obukulemberwa government ba commissioner bonna kati singa yakireeta bwatyo abo oli awo abantu baligambye nti okay muyinza okuba mulimu ekirungi kubanga oyagala nti abantu bano bonna balondebwe naye bw'ogamba nti atwagala omuntu omu yekka gwe nnonzemu mu balala kati ekirungi kiba tekitegeerekeka so ekintu bwe kiti kiba obuuliro kigenda nakunafuya opposition tuddaawo tuli mu kulwanira bifo ate nga bannaffe aba NRM bosi bwe bakola ebyabwe balina engeri ndala gye babikwasaganya naye ffe tuddaawo tuli mu kulwanira bifo naki tuvudde mu kalulu nze kakati nange ntandiseewo ka group akange kubanga oyo ayiseemu oba ayanziba n'akalulu oba saamuwagira abalala ne batandikawo akaabwe kati oba oleeta akavuyo akateetaagisa so kati tewali kirungi kye tulaba mu tteeka lino tewali kye ligezaako kulongoosa kutereeza.
The Administration of Parliament Amendment Bill 2024 was tabled and read for the first time. Consequently, it was referred to this honourable committee for further processing, and I began by highlighting the following days when I got the letter saying come the following day. So there was a bit of speed there. Anyhow, the position of the leader of the opposition in parliament commenced in Uganda in the year 1958, just by way of background, when the first direct elections in the Legislative Council, LEGCO, were held, where the position of leader of opposition was formally created in this institution. Following the overthrow of the Uganda People's Congress in 1985, multi-party dispensation went into abeyance. The political space was suppressed until the early 2000s when the political pressure was exerted to reopen the space for multi-party politics. In the year 2005, a referendum was held and the majority of voters preferred a return to multi-party politics. The 2006 elections were thus the first multi-party elections held, bringing an end to the single-party system that prevailed at the time. Consequently, the office of the leader of the opposition was established in Parliament at the inception of the 8th Parliament, pursuant to the constitutional provisions that restored multi-party politics in Uganda in 2005. The office draws its existence from Article 82A of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and Part 2A of the Administration of Parliament Amendment Act of 2006. Article 82A of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda of 1995 as amended is to the effect that there shall be a leader of the opposition in Parliament under a multi-party system. Part 2A of the Administration of Parliament Amendment Act of 2006 gives efficacy to Article 82A. Through sections 6A to 6E, the procedure of coming up with the leader of the opposition and the functions of the same are well provided for. Section 6E of the Administration of Parliament Act stipulates the role and functions of the leader of the opposition, and with specificity, Section 2 states that the leader of the opposition shall, under subsection 1, in consultation with his or her party leadership, appoint a shadow cabinet from members of the opposition in Parliament, with portfolios and functions that correspond to those in the government cabinet. The object of this bill is to amend the Administration of Parliament Act, Cap 272, to provide for the election of the leader of the opposition by members of the opposition in Parliament, to provide for additional grounds upon which the leader of the opposition may cease to hold office, to require the shadow cabinet to be approved by members of the opposition in Parliament, to require the leader of the opposition to consult opposition political parties represented in Parliament when appointing chairpersons and deputy chairpersons of the relevant standing committees of Parliament and for related matters. Let me talk about the challenges posed by the proposed bill from my standpoint. Election of the leader of the opposition by members of the opposition in Parliament has significant implications for a democratic process. While the notion of voting for the Lop may seem democratic in theory, it presents several challenges that could undermine the effectiveness, accountability, and stability of our parliamentary system. Historically, the election of the Lop by the largest party has been a cornerstone of parliamentary democracy, particularly in systems influenced by the Westminster model. This practice ensures that the opposition is credible and representative of a significant portion of the electorate. By shifting to a voting system in the House, Honourable Chair and members, we risk disrupting this established tradition, which has served to maintain a clear and effective opposition that can hold the government accountable. Because even government should be interested in a credible opposition that holds it accountable. Parliament has got two sides, Honourable Chair and members. The right side of the Speaker and the left side. The right side is led by the leader of government business, who is also the Prime Minister, while the left side is led by the leader of the opposition. The leader of government business is not elected by MPs on the government side. So why would we be seeking to have the leader on one side elected? Honourable Chair and members, while the intention behind the proposal to have the shadow cabinet approved by all members of the opposition in Parliament may be presented as one that ensures inclusivity, it presents several critical challenges that could undermine the effectiveness, efficacy, accountability, and stability of our parliamentary system and operations. The shadow cabinet is a replica of the government cabinet, which is appointed by the person announced as winner of an election. The shadow cabinet is intended to hold accountable the substantive cabinet ministers. The intention is for the leader of the opposition to have a team that he or she would be comfortable working with, hence the reason for appointing shadow ministers as opposed to making it a decision of all opposition MPs in Parliament. If the government cabinet ministers are not determined by all MPs on the government side, I ask, why then is it necessary for the shadow cabinet to be determined by all opposition MPs? The appointment of chairpersons and deputy chairpersons of accountability committees has been a prerogative of the opposition leadership in Parliament without requiring the endorsement of all opposition political parties that are represented in Parliament. This practice was established to ensure effectiveness in holding the government accountable. The same practice applies to chairpersons and deputy chairpersons of all other committees except accountability committees. Honourable Chair and colleague members of Parliament, for information purposes, Parliament has got a total of 28 standing and sectoral committees. However, only 4 of these 28 committees are led by the opposition. The rest, which is 24, are led by the ruling party. The ruling party selects the leaders of the committees under their mandate, that's the 24. Why then would the opposition be deprived of the same practice? What exactly would we be seeking to remedy? Honourable Chair, I saw a belated afterthought of the mover of this bill, saying even the chief opposition whip, whom we call the cow on our end, should be subjected to a determination of all opposition MPs. Again, the opposition side has got the chief opposition whip, and the ruling party side has got the government chief whip, who is also appointed and is a member of cabinet. That's the government cabinet. I ask again, why would we be interested in subjecting one side to a process that the other side is not subjected to, Honourable Chair and members? Of more important and less important positions in this our parliamentary system that is critical, and where all these roles are critical. Honourable Chair and members, election of the leaders on the opposition side of Parliament by members would make the opposition prone to fragmentation. When opposition members in Parliament are forced to compete for leadership positions, it can lead to divisions and weaken their collective ability to unite and hold the ruling government accountable. A fragmented opposition is less effective in presenting a united front, which is critical for influencing legislative outcomes and ensuring that diverse viewpoints are presented. Honourable Chair and members, the mover of this bill says the bill is intended for the good of the opposition. But as I have been observing, all opposition political parties have disregarded this proposed amendment, saying it is not in any way relevant. So I ask, which opposition is the mover of the bill talking about? Honourable Chair and members of this committee, I'm not the first leader of opposition in this Parliament, and I will not be the last. So if the mover is targeting the current Lop, then he is, with all due respect, misguided. Because I'm not in this office permanently. Tomorrow, it may not be me occupying this office, but it is important that we do not emasculate whoever the occupant of this office is. Honourable Chair, I saw colleagues from the NRM who appeared before this honourable committee yesterday, acknowledging that they too could be in the opposition someday. And that is the reality of politics, honourable colleagues. So let's seek to strengthen as opposed to watering down these different political offices. Conclusively, honourable Chair and members, the current legal regime is devoid of any reasonable lacuna that would warrant an amendment.